I found these really cool color tools. Let me show them to you. This is palettemaker.com, and you can see all of these different color palettes over on the left, and as you click through them, you can view hundreds of color schemes in a matter of seconds on all of these different mediums. You can switch into branding mode and see a bunch of different logos and layouts and graphics. You can also come up here to the filters and decide how many colors you'd like in the palette, so we can go a little more colorful and add a few more colors here. And then you can add more colors or tweak them manually, so you just click on one of the swatches and then you can move this and change them using the color picker. This is so useful when I just want to see a bunch of colors represented on a web or a mobile design. And let's take this dashboard for instance. Now that we've generated this main palette, we can expand this out and look at it in more color variations. So once you hover over one of these and click on Start Generator, it's going to generate a lot of different color combinations and color schemes for this dashboard design. How cool is this? Just a never-ending parade of color variations for you to explore. And now you can click on this up arrow next to any one of these. You can export this image. You can grab all of the hex codes here. You can export the hexes. You can even import this into Procreate. So this one is called Realtime Colors. Now this is an actual website that is coded that you can preview your colors on, layout, the typography, the buttons, and all of the other real elements on a website. And down here we can use this randomized colors or use our spacebar on our keyboard to just flip through a bunch of them. And it's just some common website components and elements we commonly see so that we can preview some of these colors on it. And what's great about this is that they are accessible, so you can change the primary color, secondary color, the accent. You can flip it over to dark mode and then try these colors there. And then you can even set the fonts. So if we click on fonts, we can change the heading. You can search for any Google font, or you can even use a local font. And then we can change the body. We can even adjust the type scale, and we can flip back over to the color setup. And then when we click on export, you'll see a bunch of options here. So you can export the CSS for these colors in hex, RGB, HSL. You can look at the Tailwind. You can switch on themes here so that you're separating the JS configuration for these colors and then the main CSS. And you can look at the shades. This is like the color scale here. And then you can name this file and download that. And there's also a handy Figma plugin that you can install. So just run that in Figma, and then you're going to need the URL for the page you just created. So jump back over to Realtime Colors and then click on Share to copy that URL, which by the way is really handy if you need to share this design with others that need to approve this color palette before you actually jump into Figma and have to design anything or code anything. But when you're ready to use that color palette, jump back into Figma, paste that URL into the plugin, and then there is your color palette and your color styles. Next up, we have UI Colors. This one by Eric DeVries is probably my favorite because I use Tailwind CSS for a lot of my projects. You can select any hex, HSL, or RGB sets and preview the colors on a variety of real UI components. You get the full color scale as well, so you have all of the tones and shades that you need for different elements and elevations. You can tweak the colors a bit more by clicking on Edit and revealing the options in the slide out menu. And you can change different properties like the relative lightness and saturation, and even shift the hue a little bit if you need to. And then you can export the Tailwind code in a few different formats. You can also just browse through some existing combinations here, and it looks great in dark mode. There's also a really great Figma plugin, so you can bring these colors into the projects that you're working on. This is one of the best color generators for design systems, and it takes the guesswork out of which colors look great together. As always, thank you so much for subscribing and liking. It's what really helps grow this channel and helps me make more content like this. We're doing a lot more of this stuff over in my product design course, and if you don't know about it, it is the premier, most beloved full product UX UI design course out there, where you get to do everything from the research to the refined UI design and web design, as well as product strategy and business. So you are prepared for this crazy job market that we are in, and you are a powerhouse and one that can stand up against any competition. So if you're interested in that, come join us in that course and you can learn more right here. If you want to see the next video in this series, then watch this video next.